Hey guys, good afternoon, everybody. This mentoring session is a private one with Mike today. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up real quick. Not answering any questions here. If you guys want to sit in and watch, feel free. But this is going to be a private session with Mike. Probably going to be covering the NPSV2s. So let's see what's going on here. Mike. Hey, Mike,
What's up, man?
how's it going?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Pretty great. How's the trip to Long Beach? Short trip?
Yeah, it was a very short trip on purpose. I was trying to get back and as soon as possible just because I've been traveling so damn much. It's not
How's that yours?
so congratulations by the way on the house.
Thanks. Yeah, I know it's about time to move out of the apartment. I've been apartment living for a long time, and it's just been tough, like looking for a home here in Irvine. It's kind of similar to the Bay Area. It's kind of overpriced, and everything gets taken up quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm Sacramento, so I don't have to luckily deal with the Bay Area bullshit, but or
Yeah.
outside of Sacramento, but yeah, it's crazy. A guy I do stuff with, he's IE, he just bought a place and shit, I didn't realize they had 1.3 acres down there, but he's like I said, he's in the Inland Empire.
Oh yeah. That area is kind of getting a little more popular too, kind of like Rancho, but I guess that's a little more inland. But it's nice that there too. I think they're in even Temecula. If you've been to Temecula, like the
I
wine country.
don't I don't know Southern California well at all. I know the areas that I have to go to, which
Yeah.
is Long Beach, and that's about the extent of it. So, but that's like I said, I don't know the area well at all.
Yeah, no, I don't blame it. It's way too big out here. It's like me, I have no idea what anything is in the Bay Area aside from like the main stuff, like I guess Palo Alto and San Francisco.
Right. Yeah. And again, if you don't live out here, you wouldn't. I mean, I grew up in the Bay Area, so that I know, but yeah, that's okay. Go lie down. Go on. I got three of them. I know you're a dog fan. I can see Cody right there. Well, I
Yeah.
have two. My kid's got one, but he's deployed in the Middle East right now. So
Oh no way. Okay, nice. Thanks for taking care of the dog.
yeah, it's a half shepherd, half Malinois.
Oh, he's big then, huh?
Yeah, he's very big.
Yeah. Yeah, good thing he's not like Cody over here. This guy's needy. He was trying to get on my lap this whole time, but I was like, no, you gotta stay on your chair for today.
That's great. So when are you guys moving in?
We're moving in next month, so we get moved by April 18th. My lease is up here like May 22nd, but I'm just gonna start moving things over slowly. So by next month, hopefully, I'll have the office set up over there and get everything up and running soon enough.
Nice. All right. So what I wanted to hit today, if I could, is hold on. I'm gonna close this door real quick.
Yeah, sure.
I'm feeling pretty comfortable, but then I have days like yesterday where I was early on, I was I was up pretty good. And I mean I had two winning trades and then I had two losers and basically whacked myself.
Yeah, pretty much evened out towards the
Yeah.
end.
So like, and I sent you that one picture. What did I miss on that one? And it should have the arrows of where my entry was, does it not?
Yeah, so it looks like you took the buy right here. I'm gonna try to figure, this is from yesterday, right?
Uh-huh.
So it was a buy entry. Let me go back to that real quick.
And I can pull up my trading view and tell you what time the entries were.
Yeah, if you want to do that, that'd be great. If not, I could probably just buy them out over here. I'll try to look for like the news price because I think that might have been something that had to do with it. Let's see your entry.
It wasn't news, believe it or not. I did stay, even though I traded right before the news today and I won.
Yeah, I was hoping it, like I knew that was going to come down because the news was negative. I was really tempted to get into it, but it's just really being disciplined and sticking to my game plan, and I just avoided it. But it would have been nice to take that for the good,
Yeah,
but
so
down.
yesterday I ended up losing 460, but I had two profitable trades of $825, which is a friggin' great day, right? So I probably should have would normally just stop, but I'm trying to
Yeah,
get funded. But then it's like, okay, well, I thought they looked like they were decent trades. So what did I do wrong? Because you should still be able to do it. So the first trade I took was the 654 one, which I hit, which was a win.
okay. That was over here. Okay,
This
so
is yesterday, not today.
yeah, yeah, right here on the 27th. So you took this one right here at 654. Yeah, this one right here.
Yep.
So that one looks good. All right,
Is that
let me
now? Is
move.
there something? The only thing I've kind of noticed, and tell me if I'm wrong, is when you're in between, and I don't know what the green, blue, yellow, and red lines are called, what the right name for them is. It seems like sometimes when it's convoluted and mixed up in between those, I have some issues. But as opposed to when it's clear either up above them or below them, they seem to be cleaner trades.
Oh gosh, yeah. So you're talking about the pivots, right? These lines right here.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, whenever they're like kind of spaced out and they're fanned out like they are right here, they're gonna be a lot smoother. Like you're gonna find entries like that are moving very directional. When they start to
Okay.
cross over, like you mentioned right here, this is where you kind of get kind of not sure, right? It's a lot of like your confidence kind of comes down and you're not sure if it's going to go up or if it's going to go down. So typically, like when it's spread out like this means price is trending. When price is kind of chopping up and it's going back and forth and they're not really fanning out, it's going to indicate that there's no direction. Like price is going back and forth, but it's not really going up or down. So typically, I try to
Okay.
avoid trades when that's happening. And I'm pretty sure you got the feel of that. Like whenever stuff like that happens, it usually screws up your position or your trade, especially if you're in it already.
Okay. Yeah. And what I was saying, if I'm above or below the pivots, they seem to be pretty clean trades too. Like if they're above the pivots and it's going, I mean, let's say the pivots are trending up, pointed up, but they're above them, they seem like they're cleaner.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. So like for example, here, see how price is coming down and you take the
Yep.
entry, like
And it's
say,
all below the pivots.
yeah. Yeah. So when you have that, those are like perfect setups, right? Because like you said, when they're like flowing with the pivots, like for example, your price comes down, comes up, comes back down, like you're basically going with the flow of market. And that's kind of what you want to aim for. You're not going to have that every day, but when you do have that, you can have full confidence in it and just, run with it if you have that opportunity.
Okay.
So
So 654, I was in, I won. Um, and I mean, hell, I was in it. I think I was out in 16 seconds.
yeah, yeah, I see it right here as a big candle. This one came up perfect. Yeah, so this is a good setup. I don't see anything wrong with this. You had the buy signal there, price retraced down into these red candles. This green candle right here confirmed the entry. You took it, and then it shot straight up to TP. So I think this was a pretty A+ entry right there. It was a good one.
Now, the only other thing that I've noticed, and tell me if I'm wrong, but you see how the red candles are one's wiki to the upside and one's wiki to the downside.
Yeah.
I've noticed following wiki candles sometimes it's a little bit less certain.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because so when you see a candle like that, this is what we consider an indecisive candle. Like for example, if you see something like this one before it, this one's pretty decisive, right? Because it's a red candle and you see this big wick on the top end. So you're like, okay, price is pushing down. However, if you get a candle like this is it's sort of called a doji. A doji is basically where it's kind of you don't know where it's going to go.
Okay.
Usually when you see something like that and you're reading price action, if you know how to read price action, this is going to indicate that there's going to be a push to either side. It's either going to continue up or it's going to reverse to the downside. So when you see something like this and you see how it's followed by this pretty nice green candle right here where the wick's not super big on the top, this is indicating that, okay, the push to the upside is probably going to happen. And that's exactly what happened here. Price pushed directly up.
All right, cool. I mean, price action was on my list because I understand the term, but I don't understand exactly what it means, but I don't want to go there yet. So,
Yeah, it's gonna complicate things. So it's probably better to just not focus on that too much yet.
and then my next candle was, or my next win was at 716.
716. Let's go down here. All right, 716. There we go. So looking at this one right here, yeah, it looks like a pretty good setup. There's no red flags, green buy signal, retracement, confirmation.
And above the pivots. I mean, that one's kind of and that one I was done in less than a minute.
Nice. Yeah, those are the perfect entries. Those are what you want to look for. So like I mentioned earlier, like when price is above the pivots and it's kind of flowing with market, those are like the best types of entries because you're really just going with market flow. And it looks like right there, it pushed up a little bit and then it shot right through, or maybe one more.
Well, I'm not doing, I've actually felt a little bit more comfortable depending on the ATR, which is also on my list because I can't get mine to show up correctly.
Mhm.
Um, I've just felt a little bit more comfortable at 25 than 30, probably just for my own, not 20, but at 25, just I don't know, just it doesn't make me as nervous, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you too. Like I think when it's too high, it's above 30, like it's like 35, 34, 50, or like, when it gets above 35 to like 40 in that area, it's kind of tricky because like price, since the candles are so big, it can spike to your TP or it can also spike to your stop loss. So it kind of does make me a little uneasy as well. I'm just like in my sweet spots, like around like 25, 30 around there, because I'm okay with the trade breathing for like, maybe 2 minutes or so. And then eventually hitting the TP versus it spiking you out and then coming right back up because that happens a lot too.
well, I think the other thing that's hurting me is I don't have a trailing stop loss or take profit like you do or whatever they're called, where as it moves up a certain bit, your stop loss continues to rise. I don't know what the right terminology is.
Yeah, you got it right. That's a trailing stop.
I don't have that, so my trailing stop is somewhat manual, and I've just kind of moved it up myself, which is not hard to do on TradingView, but it's bit me a couple of times where not bit me, but it came back down and hit the stop loss, which is fine. I didn't lose money. I'm not really worried about it, but
Yeah, yeah. What I would say is to just let the trade breathe and kind of like let it move. Like for me, I actually took off that trailing stop, so I don't even use it anymore. The
really,
problem with me using that was because I'm trading so many accounts. Like the main account will have the trailing stop which moves up, but then the others don't. So what happens if it does that, like you mentioned, where it kind of triggers it and it comes back down? Sometimes the other accounts are still running. So to prevent that from happening, I just don't use it anymore. I just let it hit TP or I let it hit stop loss.
I'm I'll get there. I'm just I get more comfortable, especially when I'm trying to get funded. But okay.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that one was like I said, 716, and then 923 lost.
Oh, okay, so you traded pretty late into the session. I think that's probably what so like the general rule of thumb is that, and this is why I stopped trading at 8 o'clock, because after 8 o'clock, you'll see that the market here starts to kind of flatten out. It starts to slow down a bit. Um, it usually picks up around like 9:30. What time was that entry you said?
923.
9:23. Okay. So 9:23, which was, yeah, it was right here actually. So 9:23. Let's see, this
Put
was
it, you might want to put it at 25 because that's what mine was.
okay.
Just so you'll see.
Let's see, this week. I feel like there was something going on that day. There was like some loan pack news. Let me check this calendar real quick. Yeah, so there wasn't really any like news to really affect the market there. I think what happened when your entry came up was the volatility just wasn't really moving. And I think it would have came down. So your entry was at 9:25, you said, right?
923.
9:23, okay. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it looks like it stopped you out right there. So
First candle. What did I do wrong?
I don't think you did anything wrong here. It was just the time of your entry. I think so let me just show you real quick. Let me pull this play out a little further. So let me go back to this area where your entry was at, or we'll go back to like when it kind of moved. So as you can see over here, the market kind of starts to go sideways a bit. I mean, this is something that like you probably wouldn't have been able to really spot. This is why I don't really trade after 8 o'clock, because this is typically what tends to happen. You start to get this market structure where it starts to go sideways. And when you get this isn't good for your specific trade, because this strategy is meant you're supposed to take it when prices, moving directional. So whenever it goes sideways like this, and I'm sure you've seen me during the live session, like I think the past couple of weeks we've had some markets that are just going sideways. Entries will come up and I'll tend to just not take the entries because it tends to go back and forth like this. Let me go over here and see if I can pull up.
Well, that's the other thing though, now that I say it and you look at it, there's no real spread on the pivots. They're pretty damn jumbled.
Exactly. Yeah. So at the time of your entry right here, they were already jumbling like around this area. See, like right before your entry came up. And then at the time of your entry right here, it started to kind of come back down again. So those aren't things that you necessarily have to look at. I think the main problem is really just the time of entry around this period between like 9 and 10. Because it seems like your losses only happened out here. If you just stuck to the morning trades or like before 8 o'clock, you would have been perfectly fine. Took those entries, call it a day. But this one over here is really where the problem
It's
occurred.
an impatience, I'm sure. And again, I'm trying to spend as much chart time as I can learning it and doing it. And again, that's not an excuse. It's just the reality of where I guess my mind goes. So
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to take all the available entries, of course. And I think that's like the mindset for a lot of people, especially when you're in the eval phase because you just want to get it over with. So this entry, let me see, 923. I'm gonna see if there was like anything here on the market profile that kind of pointed me against it or like to not take it. I know you don't really use this, but this is
well,
what I.
I want to understand this, but I'll get there.
Yeah, it's a little overkill, but it does help once you understand how to use this. So looking at this right here, and you've seen me during the live sessions, I typically look for confluences, right? So I
Yep.
don't have any confluences up here, right? There's no rejections off the top end because you were taking a sell. So this would have been a sign for me to just avoid the entry. There's
So when
actually
you talk about a rejection, are you talking if you go over to about the 820 candle in that general 815, that's kind of a rejection off the top end where you had those,
these over
yeah,
here.
up there, up above those are kind of
Oh yeah,
rejection.
these over here, yeah. So
No,
yeah.
I was talking about the ones where you've got the E and what have you.
Oh, these okay, yeah. So
No,
these.
no, no, no. I promise. If you go up from about 815 to about whatever, 820, right there, that was kind of a rejection too, wasn't it?
Yeah. So this
Okay.
would be a rejection, but the problem with this is that the rejection happened so long ago. And if your entry was right here, then it would have been perfect, right? Because if you had something here, let me see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm following you. I just wanted to make sure that I was understanding what the rejection was because you pointed up to a whole lot of nothing on the other one. So that's just me trying to learn. Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you identify this perfect. You had the rejection from here, and then there was an MPS sell signal, retracement. And if you took the sell here, this would have been like pretty spot on. This would have been great. No drawdown, straight to TP. But going back to your entry over here, so there's an actual opposite rejection. So instead of having top rejections for confluence, there's bottom rejections here, right? At this green
Yep.
line. So right there, this would have been like, this would have told me like, okay, this doesn't look like a good setup because it's pointing towards the other way than it is the opposite. So for me personally, I probably would have just avoided this here. Not just on the 1 minute, but like let's go up to the 30 minute. Okay, so the 30 minute here, this is the 1 minute's not going to be as like useful. For this type of analysis, I typically look at the 30 and the 1 hour. So I think this here would have been an even bigger reason not to take a buy. Because see how this right here was actually rejecting off this top.
Yep.
So this would have been like, okay, this would have just turned me off to taking this trade. If I saw this rejection here and it's for a buy, I'm like, okay, I should probably hold off on this because this is telling me that price is trying to push down. And then I have another chart on the 1 hour. And then again, right here, right? So this is even a bigger confirmation, like, hey, we should probably stay away from buys here because it looks like price is trying to make its way to the downside. So yeah, you'll build up to using this as your tool. You don't really need it yet because it seems like you have a good game plan in place. It's just I think if you stuck to a certain time period of trade, like before 8 o'clock, you'd be perfectly fine. It's trickier to trade later in the session because you have to, like, you don't have me there, right? Like, you don't have me on the live session kind of telling you, giving you an analysis and kind of pointing things out. I'm sure it would have been pretty difficult for you to identify that price was in a range right here.
Yeah, but the things that I'm noticing, even if I'm not going to looking at the 30 and the 1 hour for the rejection, I mean, I think one of the things is you've got the pivots that are all kind of jumbled up, and as I went back and reanalyzed this myself, I'm thinking, you know what? You are in a range. I could actually somewhat see that because there was no real big movement either direction.
Exactly. And you can see from
So
these panels right here too, like see these green ones, they were kind of small. So when I was as it was building up to your position or your entry, I would have seen these like small candles right here. And you've probably seen me identify that during the live session. I'm like, okay, the ATR is like 20. So I typically like to measure these candles here. I'm like, okay, these are like either abnormal or normal. And it kind of leads up to like market going flat, especially because ATR was only at 20. This is kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier, right? You like to have
right. Well, that's one of the next things I'm going to have you do is show me how to. I couldn't get that set up on mine right, even when I put it there. All right, and then my last trade of the day was at 9:33.
all right after right here. Okay, so wait, 933. Oh, same thing for another buy, right?
Mhm.
Right there. So I think, yeah, again here, same
Same
concept.
thing. I'm in the same fucking range that I got my ass kicked on the first one.
Yeah, yeah. So like right here, I would have if I would have lost this trade, like if I was in your position, I would have looked at this again and I would have been like, all right, I already got whooped on that last position. I'm probably
Yeah.
not gonna take anything within here. I would have waited for a price to make its way outside.
I went on tilt
Exactly, yeah,
is
yeah.
ultimately what happened.
And that happens. You probably were just revenge trading. You probably felt bad about this position. You're like, all right, I'm gonna hit it back one more time. And then it ended up burning you a second time right there.
So here was the funny thing today. So I did today. I had only wins. Um, but I got in my first one at 656,
656. Let's get to that.
I think.
Yeah, I remember that one from this morning. That
Yep.
was an entry.
656. I got in. Um, and was out in less than a minute today.
Yeah, that one was perfect actually. I remember seeing this. I think that this was when the news happened, right? Yeah, at 7 o'clock.
It was 4 minutes before the news, and you stayed away from it, and but I didn't. It wasn't. I don't know. Stupidly, and I don't know, but it just. I mean, you've got everything else is set up. All the pivots are pulled away from each other. It's clearly downwarding. So I got that one. I hit that one, which was good. And then my next one, the weird one was my next one was at 7:09.
709.
And this I noticed today, which I thought was kind of weird. So when you get to it, I'll show you.
There we go. 709.
All right, but put it at 25 because that's what mine was set at.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's okay, gotcha.
It'll make sense when I tell you this. So I took that one and it goes at um I got filled at 7:09 dead on. At 7:10:25, two of them got taken out.
So okay, so you got in and then it took you out of a couple of positions, or was it different accounts?
No, same account. I only have one account. So it took me out. And then I looked at it and when I put my order in, because I after our last call, it made a big difference. Like as I was trying to do limit orders before,
Yeah,
and now I do the market order and I have my my stop loss and take profit in there,
yeah.
and I put it at 25 points. But yet when it went on there, it wasn't actually 25 points. It was the weirdest damn thing. It was like less than where my entry was. So I think that's why it took me out of two, but it only took me out of two. So two I was taken out of for a loss, and then the other three filled at 7:12:33, and I won.
Oh yeah. So I think that might have been just because of slippage. Because I'm looking over here at these candles, and it looks like at the time of the candles, like once this candle closed, it looks like there was a spiky candle right here, like this one. So I think what happened was it was moving so fast that when you hit market, it didn't fill them all at the same time. Usually the candles move a little smoothly and they're
No,
like,
it filled me all at the same time. It took me out on a stop loss.
Oh, that's weird.
So
Yeah,
if you play it from there, you'll see that first candle kind of wicks up,
I see. Yeah,
but it didn't hit the 25. And that's what I'm saying. My stop loss, even though I put it in at 25, was less than 25. It was really weird.
yeah, that's weird.
But I hit on three, so it was a win.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. But yeah, the whole like the whole scenario there is kind of unusual. The only thing I can think of is slippage if like the candles are moving too fast. Uh, unless there was just an error with the execution. You're trading directly on TradingView, right? Or you're doing
I
in.
am.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure what could have been the case with Ninja or with TradingView because I don't trade on there. But
Again, it was just, I didn't even realize it. I just put it in there and set it. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not 25 points. I can do simple math in my head. But either way, I was good with it. I mean, I had four trades today and I was net positive 850 bucks. And that's with on two of them, I lost $110 because it hit an artificial stop loss.
yeah, yeah,
So now I had a question yesterday and I don't remember exactly what time it was. And I can't seem, I don't have a way to pull up our Zoom and see when I asked you about it.
oh
But
yeah,
I said, I don't see that as being an entry because the close was like 071
hmm
and the candle that closed, I take that was like 072 was the previous candle, right? So let's say it was green, the red candle hit, then the green candle that came back down closed at like 071. So it was literally one tick off.
yeah,
But you said nope, it hit it past the line. And I'm like, okay, and I was looking at the numbers,
yeah.
not just going off the line.
I
So
I remember your question. Do you remember what entry? It was like 701. You said right or somewhere around
it was not today, it was yesterday.
yesterday. Yeah, I remember your question. Let me pull it up real quick. Yeah, because from what I saw on the screen, it looked like it was below the line. But yeah, I think, yesterday, I remember trading yesterday, the market was kind of like the candles were kind of weird. They were closing below certain prices and
Well,
above.
and you're trading a whole lot differently and more than I am. I have the time to put my little cursor over it and
Mhm.
check it out. And
It was this one right here, right? Or I remember it was a sell
it,
trade.
it might have been, no, it wasn't that one because you can tell that no, because it, but then again, you know what? I think what I was doing is it might have been that one. I don't fucking know. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I remember which one you mentioned. It was like really close though. Like it was really, I don't think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before. Because we would see it here. So the sell signal came up. I know it wasn't this one because it was already this was below it.
Yeah, that's
It was
blatant.
yeah, it was like right at the line. I remember I had a double take on that too.
Go over to the 745.
745.
Nope, definitely not there either. So never mind. It doesn't really matter. It was just weird. Again, you got to do it fast, I'm probably a little bit too precise for my own good, but
Mhm.
if it stops me from getting in a trade, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think it's better if you're not if it teaches you not to take a trade versus taking it, right? Because you'd rather not be in it and not be in a bad trade versus being in it and it being a bad trade. Because that could prevent you from getting an unnecessary loss, of course.
All right, so I think that kind of answers. I'm just trying to understand. I mean, like today was perfect. I mean, I was done by 8 o'clock. It was 850 bucks. And let's be honest, if that was a regular day on a funded account, I mean, 800 times five is, I
Oh
mean, simple
yeah.
math, that's 4 grand a week.
Yeah, easily. And if you did that with like 20 accounts, that's 17,000. And then you take your 90% cut, that's 15,300. I'll take that any day.
Right. Right. And I mean, again, right now I just need to get to that. I'm good with that. So here's what I wanted to do was share my screen though with you because I tried to put the ATR on, the indicator, and it's not showing up like yours is because I mean, I can't trade with you live all the time. I got to be able to be a big boy sometime in my life. Um, and so if I can share it, I'll show you what happens when I put it up.
Yeah, definitely. Just hit that green button. I think it's the green share button on your Zoom. Should be able to pull up your screen there.
Shared the wrong one. All right. So it's that one, right? The trailing stop 14.7.1.
Yep, trailing stop. Yeah, so let's go.
See how it adds a whole bunch more lines to my screen?
Yeah, let's turn those off. So let's go over to your settings button. Go over to inputs. Let's see. Go to style real quick. Let me see. I think that's where you turn it off. Yeah, so right there where it says long trailing stop, uncheck that and uncheck short trailing stop. There we go. And then go back to inputs and then bottom, yeah, put bottom center. And there you go. Should be good right there.
Perfect. It just added all those other lines. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, this tool was meant to take like longer trades where you would you would just basically move your stop loss with the lines. But since we don't really trade that way, I mean, if you wanted to trade that way at some point in the future, you could. But for the most part, you would just you would just do your regular TP stop loss. But that's what it was meant for. We don't really use it anymore.
All right. I'm feeling pretty comfortable other than that. I'm gonna jump in. I'm not even gonna ask you to show it to me today, but I'm gonna because what's his name is killing it with the scalps.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, he's killing it with those micro scalps. Honestly, I couldn't really say what he's doing specifically because I know he's doing the strategy, but he's kind of doing it in his own way. So yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he's doing. But I'm gonna meet with him on Monday actually. So if you want to sit in on that session,
Yeah, you said you'd
yeah,
send the link. I would
yeah,
definitely like to, because he seems like he's just absolutely killing it. Now I know you said you stopped doing the micro scalps just because so many so many accounts and too much slippage.
exactly. Yeah, because what happens sometimes is the main account, of course, will hit the profit, and then the other accounts sometimes they'll get stuck or they'll have some sort of malfunction or they close at a different price point. So it's like I'll have one account where I make like 100 or 200 bucks, and then I have this other account which is like negative 400, and I'm like, crap, I can't do that because they're not going to balance out to each other. Like that strategy is a little too fast for the copier to copy. So if you're trading like one account, like how ARK's doing, or like maybe even 4 or 5 accounts, you're perfectly fine. But when you go up to more than 10, 20 accounts, it's like there's not going to be consistency with your trading.
Well, my plan right now, and I mean, and give me your guidance on this. My plan right now is to get this one funded. Once
Mhm.
it gets funded, I'm gonna trade it and take my withdrawals or whatever I can, and then add a couple more accounts. But I think when I do that, I'm gonna have to go over to um,
Ninja Trader.
Ninja Trader,
Mhm.
which means I got to go to a Windows-based computer to do it because Parallels is kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I would
Um,
initially try to start on parallels, but it's glitchy. It's not worth it if you're going to be taking.
Well, I'm not at that point where I'm good enough to, I mean, it's easy for you after however many years to look at one screen and then execute your trade on the other. I don't know exactly how you have it set up. Um, um, but I mean, that's kind of what my thought process is do this first one and then, you know, get a little bit of profits off of it. I mean, and then I'll set the other ones up and I'll do it all through TradingView, but I'm not going to do that on this first one.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Kyle's doing. So the other guy, Kyle, he actually started exactly the same time as you, but he's been just following what I'm doing. And
No, he started in January. Don't I know I said short bus window licking. He said he started in January. I didn't start till February. And then
yeah,
I
no,
was gone for 2 weeks.
yeah, no, you're right. You didn't have enough time. Yeah, but
I'm just kidding. He's killing it. He's got 4 accounts funded. I haven't even funded one yet.
yeah, he did exactly what your plan was though. So he started with one account, got that PA. He got his first payout this week actually, and then he started his other accounts immediately after, and he just got those passed this week as well. Because we've been on a win streak, so he's like, pretty much hit it back to back and got it done pretty
Now,
quickly.
over your however many years you've been doing this live, I mean, don't you pretty much normally run win streaks when you're doing your thing?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, because I'm pretty careful with my position. So, if you were to just stick to the live session time, I think 6:30 to 8, or even 6:30 to 7, you'd probably hit a lot more winners. Just like we looked over from your trades, and you'd probably be like a little more ahead in that situation. But
What is Kyle in the Discord?
yeah, he's in the Discord.
What's his name?
His username is see. It's okay, Kyle. It's like a picture of a dog on here on his. Here, let me see if I could send it to you.
He must not be online right now.
Yeah, this is his username though. It's okay, Kyle. But I think that's his. Oh, never mind. Let me get this for you. Wrong one.
Now, does this guy live local to you? You said you see him all the time?
Yeah, yeah. So I met him at my gym actually. He's one of the guys at my gym. He he used to work at my gym actually, and then he kind of just went off to go. He was going to be a coder, so he went to coding school, and then he realized that he wanted to trade once he saw what I was doing, and then he's been trading with us ever since. So like yeah, first I think like mid-January, he's been trading with us. So
Okay.
he's just a local guy that I met randomly.
Because I was going to add him because I mean, we're both at that same time thing. I don't, for some reason, I don't see him in the thing.
See, let me look him up in here. Members.
Because right now it shows, at least in mine, it shows there's 61 people online and 686 that are not.
Here, let's see. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna tag both of you guys in the chat, and then you can just click on his name from there.
Okay. Yeah, because I've had a little bit of quick conversations with well, I reached out to Arik, he didn't respond.
Yeah, he's hard to get a hold of. Honestly, he's like his mind's on is running on 100% every like all throughout the day. So you'd have to wait for him to message you. You're probably gonna respond to your messages. He'll
Well,
reach
and
out.
CJ, he and I talked a little bit, and Levi and I were, or Barack and I were talking quite a bit, but then he got hacked, so he had to change his username and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I think he has a brand new username now.
But his username, the new one, I mean, you can tell which one is him, but he's not doing friend requests on that one, so I think he's got it locked down. He got a little freaked out.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's what he told me too. Yeah, if you go over to the team chat on the Discord, I tagged both of you guys, so you can just click on Kyle's name and you could add him from there.
Okay. Okay, so it shows up as Kyle E. I got you. All right, I'll just send him a message and just reach out just because we're both at the same time. So he's doing pretty good then. How many contracts is he trading? Do you know?
I'm not sure, but I know he's keeping it pretty small because I think he's on 50K count, so he's doing I think maybe like 1 to 3 contracts. So
Okay.
not super
Well,
high.
I'm on a 50K account and I'm doing five.
That's actually pretty good. Yeah, if you're doing five, you could yeah, because you're doing like about 5 times 5 times 30. You're doing about 750 per trade. So
I'm I mean 25, so yeah, about 600.
okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
But
which is
again, I've gotten taken out because I left them alone and didn't let them work a few times, like I told you. But
mhm.
that's okay. I'm okay with that. Now, would you recommend, again, not to get too ahead of myself, but let's say next week. I mean, my account right now is at it is I am just I'm at 51,042. So I'm 2 grand away from getting funded. So I mean, theoretically, if I had 2 wins in 2 days, I could be funded by Tuesday.
Yeah, no, if you could, so I was gonna mention that because yeah, if I was to ever start over and do like, a smaller account like that, I would probably go as decent or as, decent of a contract size where you can pass within 1 or 2 trades. Because when you're doing a 300K account, like the accounts that I'm on, it takes you a while to pass. So like you have to like kind of take time with those. But with the smaller accounts, I think if you just focus on like a really good quality entry, like something we take on the live session, you can go pretty heavy on the contract size and pass it right away. I think that's what Kyle did, honestly. I think after he got his first accounts done, when he added those 4 or 5 other accounts, he just ended up going pretty heavy on contract size, and then he passed this week with like 2 or 3 trades. And now he's
And I very well may do that, but I have to be realistic about for me, I upped my account size a couple of times, and of course I took a shitty trade and then it fucked me up.
yeah, exactly. So I would say if you're gonna do something like that, probably stick to the one that I'm taking. So just wait for the one I'm taking and then go full blown on that one. Because I think
Okay.
that's how Kyle did. He just did what I took and passed his account within like 2 trades or so.
Right. But I mean, there's several days you don't trade, and there's been other trades that just had a little bit more risk tolerance than you had that are winners that I've done
Oh,
too.
exactly.
I'm
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to practice like I'm gonna play, and that's hopefully just because for the mindset, it's the confidence level, right? Because I mean that begets winners beget winners, right? And to
Mhm.
me. So, but it's been good, man. I mean, I got I got one buddy that can hear my wife out there playing with my damn dog. Do you hear her barking?
A little bit, yeah.
Um, I I kind of share it with him. So as soon as I get going, he's definitely jumping in.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, whenever he's ready, I'm open to mentoring right now. I have a little bit of some issues with the whole hedge fund thing right now, so I got some free time on my hands, and I'm okay with like mentoring at the moment.
have they responded to you yet?
They're kind of spotty with the responses. They basically, so initially they said that I was doing it improperly, and then I gave them the law, and I was there, okay, you are doing it properly. And then what they did is they went through all of my social media, and they're like, oh, it says here that you're a hedge fund manager or whatever, and all this stuff. And like, so you're putting yourself out as something that you're not. And I'm like, they basically use that as an excuse, and like, we're not going to lift the restrictions. So now basically, I deleted that Instagram, the Kodi Capital one, and then I'm waiting for them to respond for whatever else they want me to do. So it's like a back and forth. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but yeah, I'm kind of at their will. So hopefully we get that going.
So are you looking for another broker?
So that's the thing. Yeah, it's either I got to move to another broker or I got to sit for that Series 3 exam. That's probably gonna be the better option, long term, and then just pass the exam, get the license, and be done with it. And then they'd have nothing to complain about at that point. I think right now they're just looking for reasons not to lift the ban uh, until I get the license. They're kind of forcing me to take the license, which makes sense.
It does to a degree. I think they expected that you just walk away, though, to be honest with you. I don't think they expected. If you look at social media, there's a lot of people out there that just talk a lot of shit, right? I
Yeah.
don't think they expected you to come back and say, no, you're a little bit wrong. I'm a fucking attorney. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And and so and so now they kind of are screwed. But I mean, the problem is that Series 3, I mean, you're a pretty smart guy, obviously, but I don't know how much you've been studying for, but those fucking securities exams are a bitch. I've taken the 6 and 63 or 7 and 63 or whatever, and I literally missed it by one fucking question.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm horrible at like multiple choice questions. So it's like, if you were to ask me to explain trading to you, I could explain trading to you all day. But going through the math questions and stuff like that, that's kind of the stuff that just holds me back. And I just don't have the motivation to go and sit down and do it, right?
I don't blame you. I mean, how do you have motivation to do something like that when I mean, now when you're showing your wins on there, I get it. Some of those are the ones, the managed accounts, but a big chunk of those are your accounts. So let's say you give 40 grand of that 200 that you made this month away, made 160 grand this month. What in the fuck is going to be a motivator to sit down and study boring fucking security shit? I get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I do pretty well at just trading the prop accounts and just sticking to what I'm doing now versus running the hedge fund. But yeah, long term, it obviously would be beneficial. But like you said, there's just no motivation there because I'm pretty comfortable with where I'm at now.
I would think. Um, what um What about another broker? Is there another one out there that's feasible?
Yeah, so there's other brokers. The only problem is that all my Apex accounts and everything is on Ninja. So it's kind of at that point I'll have to be trading on two different platforms, which
Oh,
is
so Apex only is supported only by Ninja.
yeah, for the most part, unless I get the other accounts which are Rhythmic. So that's another thing I can do, but I've never traded with them, so I'm not even sure how that stuff would work.
Rhythmic works exactly the same. I have Rhythmic accounts.
Oh, is that what you're using? Yeah.
Yeah, because because I was told that you could do it. Yeah, because I have the Trade Avado accounts.
Hmm.
That's the one I have. It works exactly the same.
Yeah. Oh no, so Rhythmic's a little different. Like if I was to trade, because I've used Rhythmic with a different broker or with a different prop firm, and like you can only log into like one account. It's like a whole different platform. You have to use this thing called Quant Tower or Sierra or something like that.
Mm.
So it's basically just moving to another platform. It's not going to be a big deal. So if that becomes the case and I have to do that, then so be it. But I kind of like what I got going right now with NinjaTrader, and I've already paid for the lifetime license, which is another annoyance. I've coughed up like $2,000 for this lifetime license that I can't even use, and it's
Well, hopefully they'll come back around. I mean, so did you tell them you took that social media down?
yeah. I told him I took it down, and I was like, okay, what are the next steps here so we can lift the accounts? And just no response. It's been like 2 days, so I'm gonna follow up with him today actually.
Did you take both? Because I don't, you took the social media because I saw you made a post on social media saying, "Hey, I'm not managing any more money or whatever you said." But I never saw one where you said I'm a hedge fund manager.
Yeah, no, so I didn't put anything that I was. They just looked at the bio and it said something about managed futures. It didn't even say that I was doing anything. It just said managed futures. And they said just because it said managed futures, you're putting yourself out there as a hedge fund manager. And I'm like, that's weird. They're just looking for ways, they're looking for reasons to not basically not lift the accounts. And it's just
Which
it's
seems weird unless they're afraid of some sort of liability because they're making money off of you every day.
Yeah, I know it's crazy. I've been trading with them for like almost like 6, 7 months now. So they've received a ton of money in commissions from all the accounts. And I don't know. It was just that one day. I don't know if you were trading with us last Friday. I complained because my accounts weren't logging in. And
Yep, I was
that's
there.
where, yeah, that's where it all started. So it started on that day. I made a complaint and then they asked me for a survey and I was like, I gave them like 0 stars because they never responded to me. I was trying to get a hold of them for an hour. And then that's when the compliance team started to just shut everything down. And I was like, man, it all came from
So where were you before Ninja Trader?
so I've been with NinjaTrader for a long time. Before that, we were trading with MetaTrader. I don't know if you've heard of MetaTrader before.
Oh no, I thought you said 6, 7 months you were only with Ninja Trader.
Oh no, with the hedge accounts. So I've only been using the hedges. Like I
Oh,
started the
okay.
hedge. Yeah, I started the hedge accounts in September. So it's only been a couple months. But I've been with NinjaTrader for about 2 years now, I think, with Apex and stuff. So it's been a while.
Well, hopefully they'll lift it. But all right, well, that's good, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully the dentist went well. Um,
Yeah, it was good. It was solid. I got these veneers putting in, so I gotta go to a specific dentist to get them cleaned out and fixed because
oh,
they do a specific process when they clean them out and stuff because they're like covered, they're like on top of my actual teeth. So when I
I,
get my appointments with them, it's like I gotta go.
it's no big deal. And I'm gonna reach out to Kyle and just it's good to have someone that's on the same boat talking. I'm assuming he's probably a young guy.
Yeah, he's young. He's younger than me, I think. He's probably like late 20s. So he's a pretty young guy trying to get his path going. Luckily, he found trading early on. Like I wish I learned about this stuff way before. And I'm glad he's picking it up pretty early. So he's found his
What are
next
you, 30?
34. Yeah.
Yeah. Try adding 20 years to your age and say you wished you'd have picked it up earlier.
Right. Oh man, it's
You know
funny.
what? It is what it is. Everyone does the path. And again, I'm there's in no way, shape, or form to kiss your ass, but I'll tell you, I've been fucking around with certain types of trading for a long time, and this is the only one that seemed to have any kind of validity that I can understand and get some wins out of. Everything else is very weirdly spotty and yeah, it's just like I told you, one guy was supply and resistance or support and resistance. You had another guy that um, he had his own indicators that were, and it was only options, it wasn't futures, but he had his own indicators that were on um, oh shit, I can't think of the name of it, but it's the platform I was using. And you looked for this and you looked for that, and they weren't hardly ever visible. And I mean, there was a group of probably seven of us that connected with each other after we took this class. Nobody won. I watched one guy literally blow up a $50,000 account trying to do it, his own money.
Crazy. That's nuts.
I lost 2,500 bucks. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not understanding this. This is stupid.
Yeah.
This one's good for I'm really enjoying it. But now what happens just because I'm older than you and I always have these questions? What happens if somewhere down the road you just say, fuck it, I'm done doing this and we got all your indicators and then your indicators are gone. I mean, fuck, I'd be screwed.
Yeah, no, that was the same question. I get that question a lot. Like, that was the question that happened when I first started up. There's a lot of uncertainty there because I just started up like a year in. The thing with me is that like I don't think I'll ever stop trading. But even if it was to be the case, something was to happen to me, you'd still have access to it because I'd have to go in and manually remove you from the access. So, if at some point I'm like, okay, I'm retired from trading or whatever, you'll still have access to everything.
He's
In
gonna
addition,
start hitting you with his hand here in a minute. He wants some attention.
you can see him, right? He's ready for
Yeah.
his walk. He's looking right at me. Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, so over the past years, I've gotten a lot of offers for people to buy out the company. Like a lot of these companies who just want the tools for themselves. But I never really gave in because this is kind of my life now. It's just it's what I know what to do, and this is what I plan on doing pretty much for the rest of my life for the most part. So yeah, I don't think there should be a reason for you to like worry,
I'm
but
not worried. I mean,
yeah.
I'm just trying to get to a certain point. I'm definitely not worried. And I think the other part, you know, I would imagine I'm probably one of the older ones in the group if I had to guess. I don't really know, but I mean, I can't tell by the dancing guy.
Oh, all right.
Ark. I mean, he looks
Yeah.
like he might be in my age or a little bit less, um, but it's what's really nice is honestly the community in there. And I know you talk to some of the YouTube people that aren't paid people, which is pretty cool, but those of us that are actually in the Zoom and chatting and what have you, that the community makes a difference. It really does.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I agree with you 100%. I think that's really what makes our group really because I think if it was just you trading or if it was just us two, like you just wouldn't have that confidence there, like with everyone else winning. I think when you see all these other people winning, it kind of gives you that camaraderie that like, we're doing something right.
But and most of them, I mean, there's probably what, six or seven of us that will say something fairly regularly, which I
Yeah.
was never that person, but what the hell, I'm not like I ain't gonna hide it now. But they're all pretty open, like CJ, I think, and then the other guy that talks about he does the A plus plus all the time, which
Oh,
once I get funded, I'm gonna have you teach me that, but I'm not ready yet.
yeah, Christian. Yeah. So he's pretty good because he gets the stats of everything. He actually sent me all of his stats because he documents every single trade that comes up during the session and after the session. And he has some pretty good data. Like he marked up basically all of the MPS V2s and the A plus plus, and the win rates they're pretty good. They're like,
He
eight.
shared them yesterday in the chat.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty, yeah, and that's the good thing with this group too, because I'm sure you've been in other groups and people like they like to gatekeep and they don't like to share things like that. But with our group, everyone's pretty open.
Well, the problem is the minute you, like you had even said in the beginning, the minute you start sharing those wins, you get a bunch. And again, the group's not that big. I mean, right now, like I said, I show 63 online, but if I do my math right, it looks like you have about 730 that are actually paid.
Oh no no. The group is just open to the public. The people who are paid would be like they'd have like their name would be blue. So if you look on the Discord, like
Oh, okay.
yeah, so the people who are paid are the people with their names in blue. If they're in gray, they're just there for the free stuff, or they're just there basically. Because the chat is open to the public, but the people who get the Zoom links are the people who are paid, which have a blue name.
And I wish you don't have in your Zoom, it doesn't keep the notes, does it?
Uh Oh no, yeah. So I don't know. I try to figure out a way to save that, but I don't think there is a way to save the chat, or there might be.
Because the one guy asked, I told him I would send him the two links from our calls.
Yeah.
And I was waiting. I was pretty sure anybody that was in Zoom was paid, but I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure because I'm not going to give your stuff away. And this isn't, I mean, I know you have to put it on YouTube to record it, but this isn't out there for anybody to watch, right?
Yeah, it'll be private. So like basically for you to rewatch in the future, it's live right now because that's how
Right.
it records on YouTube. But after that, it goes into private so that you can.
Right. So I was just going to send him the links that you sent me so he could have clicked on them. And I copied his name, his email address, and then I hadn't heard back from you, which was fine, but I ended up unsaving it. So I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, it's all right. They'll pop into the chat. I mean, if they really wanted it, they would have popped into the Discord chat and asked.
Well,
But
which is not a big deal, but yeah, Christian. There was one guy this morning. I think his name is Adrian, maybe.
Adrian.
He's in the Zoom. The dude looked like he was laying in his bed taking the trades.
Oh, that's Steven. Yeah, that's Steven. That guy's funny. He's a character. He's yesterday, I think the day before, he was like in his car trading. I don't know how he does that. He was in his car and he's just waiting for the breakout to happen. He took a breakout and then went on his way.
Dude, you haven't seen Barack for a few days.
Yeah, I haven't seen him. He said he was busy with his kids. I think his kids are home. I think
Oh,
they have holiday
holidays
or
or
something.
something.
Yeah,
So,
so they're on I think he's from the UK or somewhere out there in Europe. So they're I think it's holiday for them. So he's
all
got the
right.
kids, he's busy with the kids.
Well, hey, have a good weekend, man. I appreciate it. You might as well start stacking up on sleep now. Because obviously for those of us on the West Coast, we're up early when that baby comes. I
Oh,
mean,
I know.
you may get lucky. Is it boy or girl? Do you know?
It's a girl.
Well, she may sleep all the way through, but I'll tell you what, mine sure as hell didn't. They were up every 2 fucking hours.
Oh man, yeah. Don't look forward to that, but yeah, hopefully.
You know what? It's so worth it, man. This is coming from a guy who's got well, two biological, and then between my wife and I, we have five, and it's it's fucking worth it. It goes by fast. I will tell you that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then that's a good thing about, being a trader. I always tell people this, it's really having the freedom of time. It's not the money, it's the freedom of time. So like even though I'd have to wake up every 2 hours, like you said, I just had to get up for an hour at 6, take those trades and go back to it. So
Well, and that I mean, a lot of people do say that about the time. I mean, I can tell you just for a point of reference for me. I mean, I've got a pretty decent job. I mean, I don't know, probably this is live, which is weird. I doubt anybody's watching. Can you tell if anyone else is watching?
shows like there's like 9 people on the YouTube.
Yeah.
They're probably from the Discord though. It's just people
Okay.
that want to fit
But
in.
it does pretty well. I don't know, 170 or so, but I'm not even stressing over it because my point is to get this to a point where it's like I'll keep doing that because I can.
Yeah.
And but I have the freedom to continue doing this. That's what I was telling my wife yesterday. I said it was a level of confidence that I haven't had in the past. So
Yeah, exactly. It's really like, being able to do things by choice. Like we had another guy who was in the group for a while and he's a barber and he was like, he wanted to do this so he can cut people's hair that he wants to cut, not necessarily cut it where he has to. So that's kind of what he does now. He just trades in the morning and then he'll cut people up that he wants to and he doesn't have to go look for clients to cut anymore. So it's
good
pretty
place to
nice.
be in, right?
Exactly right, having a choice.
That's like you. You can mentor people that you want and don't have to mentor people that you don't.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's ever since I've offered the mentorship, I've gotten so many messages from people who are just asking a bunch of dumb questions, and I'm like, it's all right. It's not for you. It's not for you. Because if you're asking these types of questions, there's no way I'm gonna be able to mentor you. So
Is the
yeah.
mentorship anything different than what you're doing with me?
No, not really. It's kind of just what we're doing. Yeah, like meeting on a weekly basis, I guess, or less or more. Mostly less, because like for you, once you pick this up, we're probably not have to meet as often because you're just gonna have questions. Stuff
Oh,
comes
you hope that's not going to happen.
in.
It's going to go. I want to go to different levels. I want to understand more of it, like like the A plus plus. I'd like to learn that. Even take another somewhere down the road, learn the micro scalp. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. You're building the foundation for that. And I'm glad that we started doing this because like I think if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't have opened up the mentorship. Because for a while I started hating mentoring, right? Because it's like you mentor certain people that you just don't want to mentor anymore. They kind of like give you headaches and you don't want to do it. So I stopped mentoring for a while, but like mentoring you and mentoring Kyle, like seeing you guys progress, it's like motivating me to keep teaching more people. Because you
I
guys are
agree.
actually doing it and you're getting it, you're not complaining about anything. You're kind of getting it down and executing.
You just if you want to learn it, you can learn it. I mean, and I've gone back, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a matter of people can say whatever they want, but I'll say if they don't put the time in, and people say, "Oh, you need chart time, you need chart time, you need chart time." Well, that's great. I can fucking look at a chart all day long. If I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at, what's the point? And
Exactly.
and to be able to go back and say, okay, what did I do wrong here? And even like Levi or Barack, he helped me on a couple of things I just pointed out, and then bring it back to you or send you a screenshot. And it's like, okay, well that makes sense. And I mean, hell, I think it was like 9, 10 o'clock last night. I went back and replayed yesterday, trying to see, okay, well, where did I fuck up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you gotta, it's not just the chart time, but it's really like taking the chart time and understanding your mistakes and, improving from there.
Exactly. And if you don't put the time in, it's like, oh, well, I spent 30 minutes, 40 minutes with Sean. I should have all my accounts funded tomorrow and life is good. Not doesn't really work that way.
Yeah, it's not like that. You gotta take it at your own pace.
So, all right, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Have a great weekend.